What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks for being so patient. How's it going? Welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce, and it is Sunday. And you know what that is? What it's become. If you didn't used to be Sunday, but now it's Sunday, we are doing our weekly wrap up. That is where we get together and wrap up this week's entertainment news, and we usually start this thing off with the box office. The box office is a little more exciting this week than it had been. It's not very much, not like a whole lot more exciting, but it's exciting. It's exciting. You know, it's exciting. It's more exciting than it had been. And I'm saying that because, for the past few weeks, the box office numbers have been very small. The winning the leading movies have been roughly in the $20 million range. Well, I think that's about to come to an end. Well, in fact, it has. It has come to an end. But before we get to that, if you're here and you are in the place, please go ahead and hit that like button. Show that you are here. Sound off in the comments so I can say hi. And then I got some assignments for y'all. Yeah, you got some work to do before we even get things started. If you've noticed, I got a few things hanging up on my board. I'm going to explain that to you before we get into the box office. What I'm trying to do is 10 days of Halloween. 10 days of Halloween, which means I'm going to try my damnedest to watch 10 movies between the 20th and the 30th of October. And basically, you guys are going to help pick these movies, right? First and foremost, I'm going to put a graphic up that tells you guys exactly which letters are available as soon as I find it. I've been working here. I've been working on graphics and whatnot. Now, where is Horrorama? There it is. Okay, so. Thanks, Tosh. It's a rare day that I get to pull double duty. But now I'm going to deliver a report about Bill Murray behaving badly. Unless you've been living under a rock lately, you've been hearing about what's going on, lady? The floodgates opening on accusations of Bill. Now I had to fix it because I had Bill going. I didn't want Bill going. As you can see, I got a graphic up here right now with some letters of the alphabet, one number, and then a double Z. Okay, so what you guys are going to do for me, Lysandra has already picked a letter. Where the pumpkins are, those letters have been chosen already. You guys can choose another letter for me. So D, give me one of the letters that is still available on the screen. Pick a letter, any letter, and I will tell you what movie that corresponds with. So when you get an opportunity, put that in the chat. If you're here and I didn't just call you out like that, you could put a letter in the chat as well. I don't know who I've got here. I know how many, but I don't know, if you want to participate. Davina picked D. Davina picked D for Davina. A, B, C. Where did D go? I got F, I got G, I got... D ain't been picked. Why am I not finding D in here? That's O, that's P, S, T. How did these get in the wrong order? Lysandra, you already picked one. Oh gosh. D. How I lose the one that's D? D is not up here. I know that. D, you would pick one and I done lost the doggone card that corresponds to it. How did I do that? D, pick another letter. I bet you I find that card as soon as you pick another letter. And yes, what is going on, sir? You picked C. C is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That is what movie I'll be reviewing for Angus. I think I've done it once, but I'll do it again for Angus. Davina, pick another letter. I don't love you. Oh, I love you. I do love you. I love all of you. I don't know where that D went to. It was here. I know my alphabet. Now watch JB not be here either. J. J is Hell House on Amazon Prime. So that is the movie I'll be reviewing for D. Lysandra, since you're here and you're asking for another pick, I guess I can do that. A for Lysandra. Significant Other. Is that upside down? Yeah. Significant Other from Paramount Plus. So I will add those 3 to the, how many I got over here already? 6? 7? Shoot. I got a lot of movies up here. So what I'm doing already is The Ring. We got Crimson Peak. We got Dead Tone, Perfection, Choose or Die, Alone in the Dark, The Mist, Jennifer's Body, and Orphan First Kill, and then the 3 that you all just chose. So thanks for helping. I'm going to try to move you guys out of the way first because you guys are here weekly. I don't know for certain if it's going to be a video or a podcast. It's going to be one or the other. I'm going to try to half and half it. 5 videos, 5 podcasts. So if you are not subscribed to the podcast feed, what you waiting on? Also, if you look down in the description box of this video, you'll see the topics that we're going to be discussing today. And you will also see a bunch of ways that you can get in contact with me when we're not doing a show. And also ways that you can support the show if you would like. If that is something that you are into, I'd appreciate it. I thank you guys for your help. And now let's get back to the debauchery. I just stole that. It's a girl that I watch, and she says that all the time. I can't just go stealing her catchphrases. Cannot do that. Okay, we're going to talk about the box office first and foremost. And I need to pull up my end of the deal over here so I can get the box office. Outside of that, how is everybody besides picking movies for me and the such? Everybody having a good day? Good Sunday? It's looking like Sunday is going to be our day. It's looking like Sunday is going to be our day. For a long time, it had been, I was doing it on Saturday. That was pre-Ashton. Now that Ashton is a thing, we had to change the date for this because Ashton takes up my a lot of my week. And I do try to get some of this stuff done prior to Saturday or Sunday. Let me see. We said we're going to talk about this box office. So then we can discuss the After the Snap box office. Why is that? The weekly wrap-up box office top 5. As you can see up here, we got a new King of the Roost. But before I jump into that, let me pick up Davina's comment. Davina says she's good. She cooked and watching the Chiefs and the Bills. Go Chiefs. We're going to talk about this box office. Davina says she would have loved to get on with me today. Remember, I don't have that access to that StreamYard, and I can't. I don't know how to do it through Skype yet. I'll have to figure it out before I can invite anybody because I don't have StreamYard. I'm using an entirely manual system now. I'm putting everything that you see, I'm doing. So I'm getting a little bit better at it, but I haven't figured out the Skype thing yet, and I'll have to figure that out before I can invite anybody on the show with me. Or we can get to that $25 a month, and I can get StreamYard back. But anywho, box office top 5. It's been being Smile for the last 2 weekends, right? Now we got a new King of the Roost, and that is Halloween Ends from Universal. It came in at $41 million. And that's something to think about because it's coming in at $41 million, and it came out on Peacock the same day that it came out at the theaters. So, had this movie not came out on Peacock same day and date, how much money could Halloween Ends have made? Um, we'll never know the answer to that question at this point, but a lot of money was left on the table. We know that. In fact, Deadline has estimated that amount to be about $10 million, which means that instead of 41 million, we would have been looking at 51 million for Halloween Ends. But coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. So now we know that Halloween Ends kind of shot itself in the foot with its day and date Peacock premiere. We also have Smile. Smile is still hanging around the top. This is the first time in a long while that I've seen two horror movies back to back, number one and number two in the box office. But Smile from Paramount still hanging up there at $12.4 million in its third weekend. Then we got Loud Loud Crocodile. Loud Loud Crocodile is in its second weekend. $7.4 million was good for number three. The Woman King in its fifth weekend is still hanging out in the top five. Like I said about The Woman King, it will have legs. It will hang around for a little while. It's hanging around for a little while because this is what kind of movie it is. It's the kind of movie that kind of burns slow, and that's fine. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a slow burn for the Woman King. It's $3.7 million, and finally, Amsterdam has knocked Don't Worry Darling out of the top five. Amsterdam is now number five, and it is at $2.89 million. So there is an awful lot of new. I mean, no, there's not an awful lot of new. Davina Anderson, did you just send me a gift? Let me see what we got here. Davina Anderson just, oops, and I'm just saying your whole name. I'm sorry. Davina Lark. That's one of your names. I'm just told to say your whole name again. I don't know what, I don't see Cash App. Well, thank you very much for the StreamYard donation, Davina. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So that will be going towards that. Thank you very much. Oh, now let me see. I'm missing. You know what? I knew something was wrong. Yeah, Angus. It was nice seeing Viola on Hot Ones, and guess what? I got that clip that I talked to Angus about this already. That Viola Davis hit me where I live with something that she said when she was on Hot Ones. Number one, that lady can handle some hot food. You can see she was trying to hold things together. She started getting a little wonky towards the end, but she did pretty well as far as holding it together, eating those hot wings. But okay, yeah, we're gonna get to that, Angus. Box office top five. Like I said, this is a new era. Next week, we're gonna see if the hierarchy of the box office changes again, because we know that next week Black Adam is making its way into theaters. Now we have a segment later on today and later on in the show that is talking about early reactions to Black Adam, but we know that we'll all get an opportunity. If you are able to get out to a theater, we'll all get an opportunity to see it next week. If not, it's usually 45 days before it gets to HBO Max. So we don't have that much longer. We don't have that long to wait before it'll be on HBO Max as well. So those are things to look forward to. We're going to talk more about Black Adam a little later. But yeah, Halloween Kills shot itself in the foot, but that's okay. It still won the box office for this week, and I'm not sure it's going to be able to hang on next week. Next week we probably see Halloween Ends dropped into number two, where the where Black Adam will be number one. I'm 100% certain. In fact, I am looking for Black Adam to do anywhere between say 60 and 75 million dollars. Now look, I don't have all of the knowledge and that the professionals have. This is just my guess, but I'm throwing my guess out there at between 60 and 75 million dollars, just based upon the bankability of Dwayne the Rock Johnson alone. Then when you start adding in the fact that this is a much awaited comic book character, that's another thing. And then you have some of the rumors and innuendos that have come out. That's going to be a big interest, but we'll get into that more when we talk a little bit more about Black Adam. So what did you guys think of this week's top five in the box office? Without spoiling anything, do you think this is the way that things should have ended up this week? Or did you think that these movies should have been shuffled around in any order? Let me know what you think. Okay, so we have gotten past our oh, Davina says she's got her tickets to Black Adam. Yeah, so what day are you going to see it, Davina? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know. We're gonna talk next, and I guess this is not this ain't good news for me. But we're gonna get it on out the way. Davina says she thinks it's gonna be 100 million for Black Adam. I'm not going. You know what? I'm gonna write it down. I said between 60 and 75. That's me. Davina says 100 million. Hey, Clarence. That's D. Clarence says there's no reason that Black Adam shouldn't do at least as well as the other summer superhero movies. There is one reason, and I'm gonna get to that when we get into the. It shouldn't be a reason, but when we get into that segment, I'll let you know what I'm thinking about that. Angus said, "What's Amsterdam about?" Amsterdam is a period piece, and it's kind of a comedy. Let me get a good synopsis on what that one is. I know it's a period movie. Set in the 1930s, it follows three friends who witness a murder, become suspects themselves, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history. And then this one stars, and it's star-studded. I don't understand why it's doing so bad, right? It's star-studded. It's got Christian Bale, Taylor Swift, that Taylor Swift, yeah, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert De Niro. The cast is ridiculous. Doesn't mean that it makes the movie good. They put a lot of money in this movie. It's like $80 million to produce this movie. This movie is already looking like it's going to lose 100-something million dollars at the box office. But going on, because I can continue to go on with the cast. We had Rami Malek, Mike Myers, Chris Rock. I mean, the names are huge. Rotten Tomatoes says 33% though. So, you know, how much of that do you take to heart? I'm going to take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes audience score, because the 33% was the critics, but the audience says 61%. So maybe, maybe the critics were a little hard on it and people didn't go see it. But the people who did go see it found it to be fair to middling. So there's that. So yeah, that's Amsterdam. Thanks for asking. That Davina says, she says that because of his pull from the WWE and then from the movie fans. And I can agree 100%. He's going to get some WWE people. He's going to get some of the people because, like we've always said, The Rock knows how to put the booties in the seats. But I'm going to get to more of what's going on that could damage, that could hurt the movie when we get to that segment. So let's remind me that so that I don't forget to say what could hurt us. Um, let's see. I knew I closed the wrong thing. I closed one of my tabs. Let's see if I'm opening the right one. Nope. I suck at opening tabs. But hey David, just started, David. We are just getting things on the roll. The only thing you've missed is the top 5 box office. So you've not missed much. And Clarence says those ensemble cast movies do better over the holidays, but are mostly hit or miss. What genre is it? I think that one was supposed to be a comedy. I think it was a comedy. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to find this. Yeah, I think it was a comedy, Clarence, and that might have shot it in the foot as well. One of the things I wanted to talk about is not Kanye West, but it's Kanye West adjacent, and that is Candace Owens. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Candace Owens, she's an American conservative influencer. She's a young black girl, author. She's a talk show host, political commentator, activist. She does it all. But she is so messy. She is so messy. And recently she started this. She did this documentary that she's got coming out, and that she basically has a documentary about Black Lives Matter. Now, if you are unaware, Black Lives Matter, y'all know what Black Lives Matter is as far as the organization. There is an organization and then there's a movement. Two separate things. The organization was taking donations, and the donations were misappropriated in a lot of ways. So those people that are part of the organization misappropriated funds. Candace Owens could not wait to pounce on that situation. Now, this is Kanye adjacent because she was with Kanye West when he did the whole White Lives Matter on the t-shirt stunt. And I call it a stunt because, again, I believe white lives matter, just like Black Lives Matter. But that was not them advocating for white lives. That was them trying to push the buttons of black people. And it worked. Candace Owens has been in Kanye's ear quite a bit. He showed up at the premiere for her documentary. Suddenly she came out with a tape of Kim Kardashian trashing Whitney Houston on the telephone while she was talking to Ray J. This is like some of the most random shit, but she was trashing Whitney Houston, calling her an old hag and talking about the drug problem and the such. It's mighty funny that this came out as soon as she starts running around with Kanye West. So you tell me if those two things are connected. So what people are saying right now is that she has Kanye's ear. He is listening to her advice, and she is basically pulling him around by the nose and making him a mouthpiece for her platform. And Kanye West has lost J.P. Morgan. They cut ties with him even prior to the anti-Semitic tweets. And then he is also, Kanye West, doubling down on his anti-Semitism, which I'm like, what? And then the person that's coming to his defense is Candace Owens. Now, if Kanye West is in the midst of a mental health crisis, which many of us believe that he is, if he is, she's taking advantage of that. There are friends of Kanye who are saying, look, somebody needs to get him away from that girl. But I mean, it's it's really too late. He's really damaged goods now, and she is making things uglier for him. So let me know what you guys think about Candace Owens, this documentary she got coming out first and foremost, and then her influence over Kanye West, and how random is that? Let me know what you guys think. And I gotta go over here and pick up comments. Um, oh, David said very cool. I hope that means that you're happy that you were here at the beginning of the show. Then Clarence says she's the worst. She and Kanye are cut from the same cloth. I can almost agree. It's just attention seeking. Uh, Angus says Owens is a professional sellout. Yes. But I mean, she knows how to keep her name in the news. You even got me talking about her, and I don't like the lady at all. Uh, Davina said, I can't stand her. Yes, I saw that she is doing a documentary on Black Lives Matter. But let's be realistic about that documentary, though. The organization, not the movement, the organization Black Lives Matter gave her ammunition. You know, when you get tempted by big money and you allow yourself to be led by greed, well, here we are. This is why you get put in the position that you're in. And I mean, the people over the organization, they've got criminal charges against them for defrauding people and misappropriating the donations that were made to Black Lives Matter. So they gave her ammunition. She could have just been talking crap. Just like lately here, Kanye has been on different programs saying, oh, George Floyd wasn't killed by the police. George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. And I'm like, we watched. Now I'm not 100% sure what they saw. What I saw was not a person go down to the ground because of an overdose from a fentanyl, using fentanyl. What I saw was a person go down to the ground with the assistance of the police and pass away with a knee of an officer on his neck. So again, Kanye West is just saying inflammatory things. Candace Owens is milking this mess that Black Lives Matter, the organization, has found itself in, and she's also milking Kanye. She's using him to keep her name kind of relevant. Uh, David says, gee, I'm glad I don't know her. She's a piece of work. She is a plague. I've been saying it. Claire said Kanye had the house wiretapped. He had to have the house wiretapped before he even got with her. Because that was when she was mad at, when Kim Kardashian was snapping on Ray J on the telephone and calling Whitney all of these names. That's when she was dating Ray J. It's so messy. Ray J was dating Whitney Houston and her at the same time. Messy. But again, we got Candace Owens and Kanye all wrapped up in the middle of it. So it had to be some mess, right? David said, does sound suspicious. It does. And Kanye is an anti-Semite. Yeah, it's starting to look that way. And I'm saying it looks that way because I don't give him the excuse of him having a mental health crisis, because it's pretty much like he's saying his sober mind. These are things that he's thinking anyway. So he has a lot of outdated beliefs about Jewish people and conspiratorial beliefs. I'm not going to dog the man because people change. I used to have these horrible beliefs as far as the conspiracy theories. I used to believe that conspiracy BS. It took me a lot of critical thinking to get over those thoughts, those beliefs. But at one time, I might, without thinking that how hurtful those conspiracy theories are, you might have heard me saying it. But when you know better, you do better. And I know better now. So yeah. uh, Davina said, I know we aren't talking about Kanye, but he was also on Drink Chaps. He said, yeah, that's what I was just talking about. He said that George Floyd died from fentanyl, and the police officer didn't really have his knee on his neck like that. Again, Kanye, this is revisionist history. Um, and it's not, it's becoming a thing in the United States, period. That we want to make things out the way we want them to be instead of the way they were. Um, Basically, we, as a citizenship, we witnessed a murder, and now people are trying to tell us that what we saw was not a murder. Wasn't no murder. That wasn't no murder. You saw something else. You saw a fentanyl overdose. That's not what a fentanyl overdose looks like to me. I watched Euphoria. I saw them. So Angus says there's a thing in lawyering called a but for. But for the police on his neck, Mr. Floyd would not have suffocated. That is 100% true. That's a but for the people, because yeah, if there was no knee on his neck, he would not have suffocated. Now, if he would have dropped dead and there was no knee on his neck, then we could say, oh, that was a fentanyl overdose. But for the knee on his neck, thank you, Angus. But for the knee on his neck, he would still have been breathing. Davina says the Chiefs are going to lose by by four, because of an interception thrown by Mahomes. Well, even though I find myself still pulled into the NFL, it's just too much, too many young people. Their lives are being damaged, and then by the brutality of the sport. Even though I believe that it's an elegant brutality to football. There is a method to the madness, but brutality is still at the heart of football. It's just at the heart of it. And there are too many young people whose lives are damaged. And there are too many old people whose quality of life has been diminished because of the sport. And while I love the sport, and I loved with a D the sport, and I do find myself being interested in who's winning, who's losing, and the such. I'm through with football. I would not recommend anybody to put their child in the sport. I think it may be time for the sport to either tone down the brutality, find a way to continue without being so violent. And by the violence, it's a necessary violence in this sport. But we need to figure out a way to make it less violent, so people have a quality of life after entertaining us. Because we all sit together on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday evening, and we yell at the TV and go hit him, knock him down, and then we see people getting carried off of the field, stuck in this position. That I will never get that image out of my mind. There were more before that, but this one was different because I'm looking at this kid like he's younger than my son. He's a baby. And all of this to keep us entertained. They make a lot of money, but money is not everything. When your brain is soup at 40 something years old, all the money in the world, it means nothing. So anyway, football and me, I'm going through a thing. And I guess from here I can talk about Viola Davis on Hot Ones, because another thing is that Viola Davis, when she was on Hot Ones, and I don't know how many people saw it. Angus shared it in our Discord, and I always say, if you want to join the Discord, the link is in the The link is in the description box. So join our Discord. Angus shared the hot ones because I really don't be watching it. I only watch it when Angus shares it. He shared a couple of them, and then I'll watch it because he put it in there. I don't think about it that often, but I'm glad that he shared this one because uh, Viola Davis did a master class on hot ones, and the last question that she was asked hit me where I live. And it hit me where I live, not because it's something that I'm not doing, it's something that I am trying to do. And she explained it in such a way that I'm like, okay, she said it far more eloquently than I could have ever put it. But yeah, the journey that I'm on, the place that I'm finding myself in my life right now, the stage, the phase is I'm on the hero's journey. And it is basically I've gone from listening to society telling me who I needed to be, how I needed to be, my parents, my friends. You're being dictated to by the entire world who you are. And you know that you are coming to a place in your journey where you're starting to come towards the final act of your journey when you realize that I need to know who I am outside of everybody else, sitting in silence sometimes and realizing this is who I am. And I'm going to let you listen to Viola Davis say what she said. And then, if you guys got anything to add, we can add it. It was profound to me. So thank you, Angus, for sharing it. And I'm going to go ahead and play the clip.
I just feel like our whole journey in our life is becoming our ideal selves. We get stripped away as we go along the journey. Where it's like, I've gotten to the point in my life, it's like I've been sold a bill of goods, that really at the end of the day, you come into this world, you are absolutely who you are. Then your parents come along and they try to imprint themselves on you, your friends, society. This is a school you have to go to. This is how pretty you have to look. This is what you have to wear. And I think somewhere along the line is a voice deep within you that tells you exactly who you are. You just have to have the courage to do that. That's what the journey of the hero is all about. You're born into a world where you don't fit in. And then you answer the call to adventure. And you deny the call. And then at one point, you then set out on your path. All right? And you slay dragons, you do all of that. And then at some point, you come face to face with not a god, but yourself. Okay? And somewhere along the line, and you get it. Your aha moment, your elixir. And you go back to your ordinary world and you share it with others. And I think that's the journey. And I think that's the privilege of being absolutely who you are, belonging to yourself, and being brave.
Slaying dragons.
Just profound, wasn't it? I think I can watch that over and over and over again because she really spoke to me with that. We got David saying that professional sports, being a fan, is too much of an emotional investment for him. I can agree. I was that person. Head to toe. Bears, head to toe. Bulls, head to toe. Cubs, and it's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy in being a sports fan, especially when you are a person who just loves hard, period. I just love hard, period. If I love you, I love the shit out of you. And that goes for sports, that goes for music, that goes for friends, that goes for lovers, and it can become quite draining. Yeah. So instead of putting all that energy into that, I kind of have to put it into me, So yeah. Davina said, amen to that. She's on that journey as well. The more the merrier. it gets to be a point in time where, um, the rubber has to meet the road. And you have to realize that how much of me, and just like David says here, the stereotyping, how much of me is a stereotype and how much of me is me. And stereotypes are not always, a negative stereotype. There are women are supposed to do this, and men are supposed to do that. Those are stereotypes. Those are gender norms that aren't that are only normal because society says they are. We don't have to conform. You know, what did Lauren Hill said it, and it went over my head. She said she got no time for. I forgot the name of the song or the end of verse, but it was a point in the song. She was like, she ain't got no time for manicures. I ain't got no time for all that. She's the time that she had, and she's trying to love. And it was the song that she did with, was it D'Angelo? Somebody is gonna know, right? Somebody gonna know what song I'm talking about. Though the skies may call, and even if my boss should call, the world it seems so very small. That song, I can't remember the name of it. And then Davina says she's talking about a lot more than stereotypes, right? And David said no one should put you in a slot. Exactly. The slot being, this is who you are. This is what you're supposed to be doing. In fact, if you're not doing it, then you're not right. What's right for you might not be right for me. So yeah. So she did. She is talking about a lot more than stereotypes. She has a lot of wisdom. Not very much older than me. She might be a year or two older than me, but she's got wisdom. And you know what? You can learn something from somebody younger than you. So she put on a master class in that little 20-something minutes, and I appreciate Angus for sharing that. Right, Davina. What she said, it pees her off what women and men are supposed to do. No, there is no supposed to. What works in your situation? What works in your corner? Your neck of the woods. If it works for you and it works for yours, then it's working. It's not broken. It's only broken when you're putting somebody else in your mix, and then they get in your mix, and now you got to do things trying to conform to what they think is right or wrong. So yeah, Viola did teach me something and made me realize that, okay, I'm not by myself. There are others that are taking this trip as well, and it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a lonely trip. You can take some people with you. So that was nice. Next, just gonna switch gears all of a sudden. Next we're going to Netflix, because in case you didn't know, Netflix is going to start an ad-supported tier. Now, we talked about this some months ago, but of course, we all need to be reminded. This ad-supported tier is going to be starting pretty soon here. They gave us the launch date and the pricing, and they made sure that their pricing undercuts Disney. So let's talk about it. There's an article on Deadline, and I am going to, I guess, share that with you. Go to my window capture. If you want me to have a good time. So, I'm covering myself. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. Let me pull myself from out of there. Pull myself from under there. That might be better. You can see me now. Yay! Okay, so Netflix is revealing its ad-supported tier launch date and pricing, which undercuts Disney. Netflix is undercutting Disney Plus on price by $1 a month as it prepares for a landmark expansion into advertising-supported streaming. The company said its new subscription tier, basic with ads, will cost $6.99 per month and will launch November 3rd in the United States, more than a month before Disney's December 8th rollout of the ad-supported version of Disney Plus. So Canada and Mexico will get the new plan on November 1st, and 2 days later it will go live in the US, Australia, Brazil, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Korea, and the UK, with Spain following on November 10th. In the US, the entry level price will be less than half the cost of the most popular tier, standard, which is $15.49 per month. Now, you guys tell me, is it worth it to you if you have Netflix and you plan to keep Netflix, or if you don't have Netflix, will it be worth it to you to get the basic tier with ads? Is that $6.99 a price point? Is that enticing to you to go out and either change tiers from that most people have is the standard tier? So will you change tiers and go down to the $6.99 a month and take the ads? Or will you keep a $15.49 a month so you can avoid the ads? Or are you just not, it's not interesting enough for you to even subscribe to Netflix? I'm wondering how many people are not swayed by the ads, like that the ads will make it better for them to go ahead and grab this Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who left Netflix in the wind. Netflix, their catalog can be wonky at times. There is a whole lot of nothing a lot of the time. And then there are some times that you can find some gems in the Netflix catalog. So tell me what you think. Now, Disney has announced that both price hikes has announced both price my mouth won't work. Disney has announced both price hikes and a new ad-supported version of Disney Plus. When that new tier launches on December 8th, it will be $7.99 a month, which is currently the standalone price for the ad-free Disney Plus. After December 8th, the ad-free Disney Plus is going to go to $10.99. Though many consumers opt for the bundle of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, which offers savings on the regular price of each one. So I don't think the price is changing if you've got the bundle. But if you are just having Disney Plus, if you want no ads, then you will have to bump yourself up to the $10.99 tier. Davina said it's not enticing to her to go down to the tier with ads. The ads sometimes get in the way with people, especially when we start talking about how many ads that Netflix is talking about having. And it sounds like a lot. It might not be a lot. I don't know. In a blog post, Netflix COO Greg Peters said there will be 4 to 5 minutes of ads per hour, with both series and feature films being interrupted by spots. So again, that's 5 minutes an hour. If you're watching a 2-hour movie, you got 10 minutes of ads that you're going to have to sit through. That could be the time that you get up and get you something to drink or go to the bathroom. But, when you're used to just doing things when you want to on Netflix, and now all of a sudden you got to time it, that can be a negative thing with the ads. However, that $6.99 sounds a whole hell of a lot better than, $15.49 or $9.99 even, if you got the one screen, $9.99. Anyway, they got a lot of advertisers lined up, of course, that new movies coming to the service are just going to have a pre-roll, so they're not going to interrupt your movie to put some ads in. They will have a pre-roll of ads. So before the movie goes, you're going to watch 5 some minutes of ads. What else we got? Yeah, I don't know. David says he don't have cable. If I'm fortunate, I'll catch something at a friend's house. Stumbled onto the boys. Stumbled onto the boys on Amazon. You talked about that. I love the boys. I love it. I try to get people to watch it on a regular basis. Everybody, people don't want to give it a chance who don't know what it is. Now, look, some people have watched The Boys, and it's just not for them. It's just not for them. I'm with you. The Boys is so freaking outrageously raunchy and gory, and I usually am not the one for that, but I love that series. I love it. So yes, I do talk about The Boys on occasion. I have not made it a weekly thing, but maybe with this season that we're embarking upon, I will try to make it a weekly thing on the podcast. So if you're not subscribed to the podcast feed, do that wherever podcasts are served. All right. So we talked about Netflix, and there's ad-supported tier. And, most people we got a mixed bag on that. You either love it or hate it. It's really not, I guess there's no two ways about it. You love it, you hate it. One way or the other. Let's go to Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese kind of knows how to keep himself relevant. Anytime he has a film coming out, we have found that Martin Scorsese always has something to say about the state of cinema. Let's see what he's got to say now, because I know he got something. Martin Scorsese says cinema is devalued, demeaned, belittled from all sides. But he also is promoting his documentary, Personality Crisis, One Night Only, and that's at a New York Film Festival. So at the New York Film Festival, Martin Scorsese is setting up Personality Crisis. So therefore, he has to talk about the state of cinema today, and his outlook is very bleak. It's very bleak. He doesn't have a whole lot of good to say about the state of cinema. So let's see what he says. Of course, this article is from Deadline, because all of my articles are usually from Deadline. Now, I'm going to surprise y'all a little later. Everything is not from Deadline, but this one is. David says he said The Boys is insane but enticing. He saw about 7 episodes. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that's a good start, David. That's a good start. So Martin Scorsese said that the New York Film Festival is a spiritual home for filmmakers and artists, which is particularly important now when cinema is devalued, demeaned, belittled from all sides. So why does he say that? Let's get into why Martin Scorsese says that. He said, since the 80s, now he going all the way back to the 80s. Martin Scorsese is a little older. He's up there. Martin Scorsese says, since the 80s, there's been a focus on numbers, and that is kind of repulsive. Of course, the cost of a movie is one thing. I understand that a film costs a certain amount. They expect to at least get that amount back plus a gain, he said. But the emphasis is now on numbers, cost, the opening weekend, how much it made in the U.S., how much it made in England, how much it made in Asia, how much it made in the entire world, how many viewers it got. As a filmmaker, as a person who can't imagine life without cinema, I always find it really insulting. But such considerations have no place at the New York Film Festival. There are no awards. You don't have to compete. You just have to love cinema here. It's just cinema. Now, while Martin Scorsese usually has some hot takes, and a lot of times I'm not in 100% agreement with him. He's he's from the old guard, many will say. And I need to look up. I know he's got to be in his 80s. I need to look up his real age, though. So if there's wisdom, he's 79. 79, he'll be 80 on November 17th. So there's a lot of wisdom there, a whole lot of wisdom. So we can't take that away from Martin Scorsese. He's been part of the business for a long time, and he is from the old guard, where I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. That movies, they were almost about how they made a person feel, and not the box office, not how much money it made, not how many people put their eyes on it. How the audience that went to see that movie, how did it make them feel? And I like that. I wish we could go back to that day and age. But now film has become such a spectacle, and not necessarily in a negative way. Film has become a spectacle, and with a spectacle comes a price tag, and the price tags are far more extreme than they were in the 80s when Martin Scorsese, that era that right when things started to change. Now we're talking about 170, 180, $200 million movies. And these movies come in. We're talking $200 million films. So no, if you're putting that much money into the realism of a film, you do not want to lose money on that. We were talking about Amsterdam. And while I'm not sure what Amsterdam is like as a film, I do want to see it. They spent $80 million on this movie. They want to make at least $200 million at the absolute least, to say, okay, we covered the cost of making the movie, and then we got some more profit. That's the name of the game, is profit. So yes, it's no longer only about the love of making movies. These indie films, however, your small art house films, those are about the love of making movies. And we need to also support the love of making movies. We need to support that. We need to support those. What was the movie that I loved so much last year? Last Night in Soho. We need to support those kinds of films as well, because those types of films are hidden gems. Your Power of the Dogs, those kinds of movies, hidden gems. But then, yes. Yeah, I am. I still probably got another hour. Okay. Let's say hello. Let's say hello to the peoples. Oh, Fats. Come on, Fats, say hi. Say, hey, everybody, it's me, Fats. I'm here to say hello. It's me. All right, Ashton, go back with Mommy until Gigi is finished. Oh, gosh, your little fat self. Okay. Angus says he clearly doesn't remember the schlock of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. There was some schlock, wasn't there? And Davina said, just like sports. Sports, the one thing that's different about movies and sports is that the movies is always a team thing. There is no I in the movies. There's very few people who can just carry a movie. And that, I mean, yeah, people can carry a movie. But what I'm saying, we got team sports where somebody on the team is making damn near $100 million, and then you got somebody making the league minimum, 500. So yeah, everybody said hi, Ashton. He's gone now. Good. We will be together, me and him, in about an hour, maybe a little less. So yeah, Martin Scorsese, he does make some points. I'm not going to say that the man is completely devoid of points, but What I am gonna say is that he 9 times out of 10 he just doesn't remember how things were. Again, the revisionist history of it all. So yeah. If you got anything else, oh, Lassandra's saying hey to Ashton too, and he just dipped on up out of here. He'll be back to the scene of the crime. Lord have mercy. The life of grandma life. Did y'all know that Cuba Gooding Jr. had these sexual assault charges on him? Did you know that? If you didn't know, he did, and he pled guilty in this sexual abuse case. That is Cuba Gooding Jr. So let's see. Let me go to the graphic. Cuba Gooding Jr. Again from Deadline. We got this update on his case because again he is accused of forcibly kissing a server at a restaurant, I believe it was. Let's he was first charged with allegedly touching a woman's breast at a Manhattan hotel rooftop bar on June 9th, 2019. Then more charges were added later over incidents in September and October of that year. So, he evidently pleaded guilty. Pleaded guilty or pled? He pleaded guilty to, and it's not funny, to this forceful, what do they call it? Forceful touching or something. He pleaded guilty to forcible touching. And he got no jail time for this. Of course, you know, we're right back at the kind of protection that rich people get when they behave horribly. They are protected. He pleaded guilty. His next court date is going to be January 22nd. And they're going to rule on the prosecution and defense motions that are due on November 18th. Those responses are due on December 9th. There will be other charges, I think. I want to make sure. So Cuba Gooding Jr. won't be on trial on criminal charges of forcible touching, but the Oscar winner will be facing more allegations of sexual abuse as a newly unsealed indictment revealed Tuesday. So he did plead guilty for the forcible touching case. There are more sexual harassment type charges pending. I'm shocked and surprised, but why should we be? You know, again, these are human beings who do dumb things. They make mistakes, and what he did is pretty bad. Cuba pleaded guilty, yes, and Lysandra said he gonna pay out of pocket. Look, it's not enough, because it starts to be the point where it's pocket change to them to go around and harass women. It's pocket change, and that's not fair to the women who are made victims. And I'm not saying it's only women. Okay, of course, it's not only women. There are men victims. We're looking at Anthony Rapp and Kevin Spacey. You know, we're looking at that situation. So it's not just women, but when a person is powerful, when the aggressor is a powerful person, you know, and a lot of times we don't see justice the same way you would see it if it were your son or mine. You know, if it were your son or mine, they putting them under the jail for this type of behavior. But these people who are powerful, you know, they're getting away with bloody freaking murder. So we're gonna go into something a little bit more happier. Yeah, a little bit more happy. We're going to talk about some of the WB news. We're going to jump it off with Black Adam because if you didn't know, I was going to say as you know, but if you didn't know, Black Adam had its world premiere this week. Yeah, New York in Manhattan. Yes. We have a special report being put together, and that special report was done by the alter ego Tosh. So I'm going to let Tosh tell you exactly what the thoughts were, the early reactions were for Black Adam. So take it away, Tosh. Thanks a lot, Tosh. Black Adam, a film that has been a long time in the making, finally had its New York premiere last week, Wednesday. And while the official review embargo has not yet been lifted, we have gotten some early reactions for the Dwayne Johnson film.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Black Adam world premiere. 3, 2, 1.
We wanted to build out the DC universe, and I'm proud to celebrate Black Adam with all the fans.
Yeah. It's an absolute experience. This is not something you want to miss. Get your tickets. Get your tickets now.
Go see it October 21st.
I can't wait for the world to see the movie.
The star-studded film is directed by Jami Kalat-Serra, and it also stars Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher, Marwan Kenzari as Sabak, Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone, and Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Dwayne Johnson is pulling out all the stops to make sure every available eyeball is on his film, and while many positive reactions have been shared, the consensus is pretty mixed on this one. Shabazz the Movie Podcast says, boom, Black Adam and The Rock delivers us one of the most adrenaline-fueled adventures of the year. This 300-style action spectacle feels like a hit for DC. Some side characters and a shaky script prevent this from changing the hierarchy of the DCEU, but Pierce Brosnan is a scene stealer. Dorian Parks added, I've seen Black Adam. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and it did not disappoint. The action sequences were incredible, especially the ones with the JSA. The Rock crushes it as Black Adam. The film's end left me with high hopes for the future of the DCEU.
Feel that this serves not only Black Adam, but it serves the larger DC universe. But man, more importantly than that, it takes care of the fans. And that's what you want your lead foot to be. So, yes, phone calls, meetings, but man, it was years. This was 6 years to get that done. I'm going to say that again. 6 years we first started talking about this, and they kept saying no. Now that leadership isn't there anymore, because we usher in a new era in the DC universe, and we usher out an old era.
This reviewer said that Black Adam is the best DCEU movie since Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it definitely embraces the DCEU with multiple new characters and great action sequences. Also, there's a cameo that will have everyone talking for weeks. I can't wait to see it again. 5 stars. Now, while many reviewers held their cards pretty close to the chest, there were a few, like the previous reviewer, that kind of let the cat out of the bag, including The Rock himself. And when asked if the DCEU was looking to compete with the MCU, Dwayne Johnson had this to say.
And do I think we're going to take any kind of bite out of Marvel? That answer is unequivocally no. Because, to me, as we build out the DC universe, this new era, ushering in a new era of the DC universe, that to me is not my lead foot. It's not our goal to take a bite out of Marvel. What they've done is incredible. What Kevin Feige has done is incredible. And by the way, and I love those guys. They're all my friends. And are largely responsible for the economic drive of our business for almost 2 decades. So we don't want to be Marvel. We want to be DC. And how we do things. So That's what I want. I don't want to take a bite of that apple. I want to grab a new apple, and I want to create from there.
And just in case you didn't get the message, he took to Twitter and also responded, "Been asked this question a lot, and my answer is no, we're not chasing at Marvel Studios. That's not smart. We're DC Comics, JSA and JLA. There's only one Black Adam and only one Superman, and we don't chase anybody. I respect the game, but to me, we're trailblazers and disruptors." Yoko Higuchi's review was that it was pure blockbuster entertainment. Black Adam, directed by Jami Colette Serra, is a wild ride that flies from one insane action scene to the next. The Rock is Black Adam and shines alongside the JSA. This is DC Comics films at its most high octane, and I loved it. And many folks agree that Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate stole the show as a member of the JSA and a foil to Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam.
You've done action, you've done all kinds of things. How did it feel? Why was this the right movie to be your first superhero movie?
Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange, and my sons, who are comic book aficionados, would say, "Dad, Doctor Strange." Well, we all know who Doctor Strange is, and he is epically brilliant, Benedict. But then you have the bookend to that, and it's Dr. Fate. And Dr. Fate is much loved, one of the senior members of the Sorcerer's World. Jami Colette Serra is the director, Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam. The cast, the text, the script works on many different levels, and I think it covers them in a very subtle way and sometimes on the nose, culturally, politically, socially, and more importantly, in a grandiose, epic, entertaining way.
Not all the reviews were glowing, however. Sean O'Connell said, "We can tweet about Black Adam. I didn't like it. The script is ridiculous. The JSA members don't get much development. And the humor isn't just bad, it's cringe. I like The Rock a lot, and I want him in a much better film. Last 30 minutes are a CGI assault. Wasn't for me." Eric Francisco added, "I'm going to save all I have to say about Black Adam for my reviews, but let's just say my theater knew exactly what they were watching. They were stone cold silent, but for 3 moments of middling comedy and the mid-credits scene. It's bad, and not even in an ironic, fun way." Sean Keane had this to say, "Had to go through metal detectors for the Black Adam New York screening. Not sure why that made him mad. But anywho, pity it's bad, no emotional depth, zero sense of peril for the main character, and dull CGI battles." So there you have it, a mixed bag of opinions. Hopefully we will find out for ourselves this week Friday. I'm going to be checking it out on Thursday. But this week Friday, we'll be checking it out at a theater near you. That is Black Adam on October 21st. Back to you, Tosh. So I don't know. That is the comic book version of Black Adam. And look, the way I look at it, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was born to play this part because he does look like this character. He looked more like the character when he had hair. But again, like we've said over the weeks, this movie was one that was supposed to come out not supposed to come out. It was first announced some 12 years ago, at least. So, Was there a cartoon of Black Adam? Black Adam and Shazam. They were mostly like movies. So like the animated movies that you would see on HBO Max or those kind of movies. So yeah, or you would have been able to kind of rent them and stream them at home, or you would have been able to, yeah, they were those kinds of animated features. There was one with Black Adam versus Superman. There was one with Shazam, and of course, Black Adam is really a foe or a enemy of what's his name, Shazam. So usually where you see Shazam, you'll see Black Adam. For some reason, they're doing things a little bit differently in the DCEU, and you know what? I'm here for it as long as they are, as long as they make good movies. You know, some of the things that happened with this premiere, the first and foremost, as we were talking earlier, this movie is gonna top the box office next week for certain, for 100% sure. Does look Vulcan, doesn't he, David? Yes, he does look Vulcan. But he's gonna top. This is gonna top the box office. Some of the problems, and the problems are not problems for anybody else. It's just for this little segment of people, but they do make up a group of people who would typically go to the movies to see these movies. Now, if these people are telling the truth, and you know who they are, it's the Snyderverse people. It's those people. They said they will not support the movie because Walter Hamada and Jeff Johns, and there was another name, and I can't remember who it was. They were listed as executive producers of this movie. And because their names are in the credits, they are making a bunch of noise and saying that they are not going to see this movie, which is why there was a leak of certain information, and I'm not going to repeat the information. Some of you may have heard the information already because you are into social media and such the same way I am. Please do not put the spoiler in the chat or the comments anywhere. But if you know what I'm talking about, there was a scene in the film that nobody should know about, but here we are. Everybody knows it was leaked. And I feel like it was intentionally done. I feel like this was an intentional leak on behalf of DC and or Dwayne Johnson, because Dwayne Johnson is not shying away from talking about this leak. He continues to bring it up in different in different interviews. He brings up the fact that this very important scene was leaked. He brings it up so that, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion now, he brings it up so that that group of people who are saying we're going to boycott this movie because of these three people, that it will kind of bring them on board. Now, if he successfully brings the Snyder Bros on board, then I can see this movie going over that $75 million that I talked about. I can also see, but the fact that they are bringing out these pieces of information that they probably should have left as a surprise kind of tells me that they don't have a lot of faith in the movie. And then I look at the reviews. Now, there are no Rotten Tomato scores yet. There is what they call a review embargo. So they can't put, none of the reviews, none of the reviewers, none of the critics can print their reviews or do like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb or anything. They can't do any of those types of reviews until the network or the studio says, okay, we are lifting the embargo, you can go now. And that's usually with a big movie like this, a couple of days before the movie's release. The closer it is to the release date, that they lift the review embargo, the less faith it seems that studios have in their movie. So, for instance, there are some studios who will say, "We got so much faith in this movie, we'll lift the review embargo an entire week before the movie comes out because we know that the reviews are going to be good, and we want those reviews to influence people who are on the fence to run out to the movies." Okay. But if the movie sucks, if the movie sucks, they're not lifting that review embargo until close to the day or the day that this movie releases. And the reason why they are doing that is because they don't want those reviewers and the critics to influence your thoughts. So we're moving closer. It's not too close. I say if they lift the review embargo tomorrow or the day after, they've got a lot of faith in this movie. They've got enough faith. But we already have gotten a little handful of bad reviews or bad reactions. Bad reactions. They haven't done the full review yet. So we got a handful of bad reactions out there already. The big scene has already been spoiled. And then you got the Snyder Bros, who are not going to support this movie because these people had something to do with the production. So when you add all of those things up, to me, it doesn't necessarily mean that this movie is not going to be successful. It's like they're taking some of the wind out of the success of the movie. We kind of know the shit that we know the shit that we're not supposed to know. I do. And if you don't want to know the stuff that you're not supposed to know, then I'm going to suggest that you don't go on social media and look up anything about Black Adam, because people are out there spoiling it. Yeah, it kind of made me mad. Black Adam is going to be a hit. And I don't know what the budget for this movie was. First and foremost, the budget needs to be astronomical. We've waited 14 years for this movie. I know it gets higher every time I say it. I'm going to say 12. It's been at least 12 years. We waited 12 years for this movie. Let me see if we got a budget yet for the movie. Let's see. So, see, this is ridiculous. They got to make a lot of money to recoup this. This. I hope this is not right, because their budget is $200 to $250 million. Now, this is not to say that I don't think that this movie can make $700 million. It will. But goddamn, you're making it real hard. This movie didn't have to be no $250 million movie. It just didn't. Oh, David said, I don't trust reviewers except for me. He said he still likes the Last Airbender. Now, you're not alone. I think Lysandra, she liked that movie too. I'm not 100% sure, but most people are like, that movie sucked, but but yeah, I think that she liked that movie. I can't be sure. But yeah, $200 million, $200 million is a lot. $200 million is a lot. Look, and also, the fact that The Rock himself is out there spoiling the damn big scene in the movie, that kind of makes me feel like that he feels like he has to say that this is happening to draw people in. And he doesn't do things by accident. He does not. He said all of that, the stuff that he said, bringing up the fact that there's this big cameo in this movie. It's almost like it's a bribe to come. Now he has shown up in test screenings as well, kind of dressed down, hat on, coming in the back door just to gauge the audience reaction. And because he is sneaking in and he's seeing audience reactions, did that inform him? Did that make him say, I need to drum up a little bit more interest in this movie and let's leak a few things? But this was a big leak, and I didn't like the fact that they leaked this stuff. It's just like, why did y'all do that? So yeah, you guys tell me, what more do you think is going on with The Rock and Black Adam? And are you guys okay? I know the Davina has got her movie tickets already. Let me know if you guys are planning to see the movie, and if and what you think. What are you looking forward to most? I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking forward to most. Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Yes, I am, y'all. Yes, y'all know how I feel about Aldous Hodge. If you don't, you need to go back and watch some of the stuff, like when I was reviewing Calypso. That's the episode of Star Trek Short Treks that he showed up in. And I pretty much let the world know that I wear my heart on my sleeve for Aldous Hodge, and also Jonathan Majors. And there's a long list. Benedict Cumberbatch. There's a list. But yeah, Aldous Hodge is in this movie. He's playing Hawkman, and I cannot wait. I also think Pierce Brosnan makes a very fine Dr. Fate. Yes, I do. So you guys tell me what you guys are looking forward to the most of Black Adam, and if you plan on going to see the movie. We got Lasandra saying, I love that movie, The Last Airbender. Well, you and David got something in common. David said when he bought The Last Airbender DVD, the salesman tried to talk him out of it. Look, you like what you like, and everything is not for everybody. So just because I don't like it, don't mean that you won't like it. And I'm gonna always preface that, go see it. You might feel differently, but The Last Airbender sucked to me, in my opinion. We're gonna talk about something else that's coming out, WB from WB News, and that is that Dune. Y'all know Dune is they moved it up. So we start talking about having faith in a movie. You know that when a release date is pushed up on the calendar, there's a lot of faith in that movie. And the Dune sequel will be eating the release date of a recently vacated Marvel movie. So yes, Marvel moved a few of their titles. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. And so that Dune movie is going to be arriving a little earlier, because we won't be getting Blade in November of 2023. So now Dune is taking the date that Blade once sat in. So the sequel is going to be released on November 3rd, 2023, instead of the originally announced date of November 17th, 2023. Again, when we start moving things up, we got a little faith. We think that we're doing the right thing with this movie. We know that we're going to be on schedule with getting this movie out. It's a 2-week jump forward, just 2 weeks, but 2 weeks is a big thing, especially when we start getting into these around that holiday time. This is a 2-week jump forward for the sequel, and it's exciting news for fans who enjoyed Denis Villeneuve's cerebral take on the classic sci-fi novel. That would be me. I loved that first Dune. I just didn't like the way where they stopped it. I wanted them to keep going. It's like, I feel like they should have, like Lord of the Rings, how they filmed all of those movies one after the other, all together, so that there wasn't these big, huge, long gaps in between the movie coming out, the first one coming out, and then the next one coming out. In Lord of the Rings, they didn't do that with the series. So their Lord of the Rings series, I know I just jumped to something else, but while it's on my mind, I need to say it. The Lord of the Rings series, which just ended over on Amazon Prime, this first season, the second season is going to take 2 years. Instead of them filming those seasons back to back like the movies did, they're starting production on season 2, even though they knew no matter how season 1 was received that they were going to have a season 2. I'm like, well, why didn't y'all just film the shit together? Now people are going to have to wait 2 years for the second season of Lord of the Rings, the series on Amazon Prime. But anywho, that's not what Dune. We're not waiting that long for Dune Part 2. We did wait for a little while. It was, 2 years, right? I wish they would have filmed those two films together. So Dune Part 2 has already begun filming and will include new cast members like Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, and Christopher Walken. I love Christopher Walken. Now, the sequel will premiere exclusively in theaters. None of this HBO Max day and date shit that they did with the original Dune movie from last year. So now you're going to have to catch it in the theaters first, and then wait until it leaves theaters and comes to HBO Max. So yes. You got that to look forward to. The film was originally set to be released in October 2023. It was delayed to November 17th, and now it moves up to November 3rd for Dune Part 2, and everybody's excited. Hakuna Matata, Kumbaya, and all of that. I cannot wait. I am looking forward to seeing what happens with Dune. Speaking of Dune, while we on Dune, we're going to stay on Dune for just a second. The reason why we're going to stay on Dune for just a second is that HBO Max has announced a prequel series to Dune. So much like we've been seeing with all these other kind of big budget projects, we are seeing Lord of the Rings have a prequel series. We are seeing Game of Thrones have a prequel series. And now we are having a prequel series for Dune. It's going to be called Dune, the Sisterhood. And it has a start date and a location confirmed for HBO Max. It's HBO Max, of course, because it's Dune. The filming is going to get underway next month in Budapest, Hungary. And it's called Dune the Sisterhood, like I said. So that means that Dune Part 2 and prequel series will both be in production at the same time in Budapest. So the people in Budapest are like, yes, we are winning. They're winning. So that's some big productions going on in their city, in their country. The movie industry is doing big things over there in Hungary. So, casting has come together for Dune the Sisterhood. So Indira Varma is going to be also in there along with Emily Watson and Shirley Henderson. So those are some decent names. It's going to be set 10,000 years before the ascension of Paul Atreides, and it's going to follow the Harkonnen sisters as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish the fabled sect known as the Bene Gesserit. Ben Gesserit. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hopefully, somebody can phonetically write it out for me. So, the Diane Ademo-John serves as a creator, the writer, the co-showrunner, executive producer, wearing a lot of hats. Alison Schapker is a co-showrunner, executive producer. Emmy winner Johan Renck will direct the premiere episode and also executive produce. Denis Villeneuve is going to also be an executive producer. There's a lot of executive producers on this thing. It's going to be a big deal as far as this new chapter in the Dune story, as far as live action renderings of it. So let me know if you are excited for Dune, the Sisterhood. Now, look, I don't have HBO Max right now, but these shows are making me feel like I need to get it back. I need to find a way to get HBO Max, to get, so that I can watch the Sisterhood, these movies that will leave theaters and come to HBO Max. I am excited for those. There are also other series that I'm also very excited for. Unfortunately, one of those is not this house party movie. Now, look, I'm not saying that I don't want to see it. I think I might. I don't know, man. I think I might want to see House Party 6. Yes, with 6 of these things. I think, the original ones came out during the time that era spoke to me. Of course, we had Kid and Play, and I was probably 17 years old when the first House Party movie came out, and I can remember going to the theater after a volleyball game. Now, I think it was after I went to the volleyball game because I wasn't playing. I didn't play volleyball, but I went to the volleyball game. No, it was House Party 2 because something crazy happened that weekend, and I will never forget it. It was House Party 2 the year after I graduated. I went to a volleyball game, and I rode the bus with the team, and then me and a few of the people who played on the team went to go see House Party 2. First House Party, I think I went with some classmates. But anywho, New Line's reboot of House Party was originally supposed to go to HBO Max, but now it's going to theaters, which I don't know if that's a good idea. It's going to open on January 13th, 2023, instead of December 9th, 2022. So that means they're moving this House Party movie to Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, that birthday celebration for Martin Luther King. Why are they doing that? Now, so that means that instead of this movie that was coming out 2 weekends before Christmas, they're gonna move it in on to a holiday, even though it's a movie-going holiday. But that movie Megan is coming out the same weekend. Now look, everybody's not horror. I'm not big on horror. I will dabble. My sister is the horror chick. I dabble. So Megan is coming out. And guess what? I'm going to see Megan. I don't know about this house party shit. So I don't understand why. I understand why they moved it, but then again, I don't. Because now you're putting this movie, House Party, you're putting it up against Megan. And that's a James Wan movie, and James Wan has a following. Now, LeBron James also has a following, and LeBron James is an executive producer on this film, House Party. And he's also going to make a little cameo. We saw that in the trailer. But again, when I say that people put big shit in the trailer or leak big shit because they don't have faith in their movie, here we are. Why would you show us that LeBron James is going to be cameoing? I guess, it kind of, it's a big, I guess it's a big plot point in this movie. It's kind of what makes the movie go. But I just don't feel like they should have did that. Angus says, Megan has some deep uncanny valley going for it, doesn't it? And all that dancing and shit. She was dancing. Davina says she can't wait to see Meg. And Angus says, also some terrible engineering. Do not let your AI override your kill switch. Ever. And I guess we can start going into, one day maybe we'll talk as far as just members. This will be a members only chat. Maybe we should do this where I want to just talk about the singularity. Now, I believe that Angus will know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the singularity But if you are a member, a regular donator, and you don't know what the singularity is as it pertains to AI, I want you to look it up, and then maybe we can set a date to talk about the singularity, because what Angus said here about do not let your AI override your kill switch ever. Yeah, that's like the lead up to the singularity. So that'll be a conversation that we can have, members only. Let's see. I'm gonna write it down to make sure that I can remember to set a date for this. That's some deep, profound kind of thought experiments, like what will happen if. So okay, house parties moving to Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, which I could think of 7 million other movies that I'd like to see there, but here we are, and we also have Megan that's going to be there as well, and hopefully you know the movie does something. I don't know what. I hope it does something. So now, we're going to talk about. So sorry, guys. David said that sounds painful, Angus. Yes. You let that AI override your kill switch? Don't you ever do that. Ever. Okay. We're going to talk before we get into some what was it? Marvel news. Before we get into that, we're going to talk about Bill Murray real quick, right? And look, I feel some type of way. I do. Yeah, I feel some type of way about talking about Bill Murray. Bill Murray is a fucking legend, right? He's a great actor, a funny guy. And they're also telling me that he's a piece of shit. And I guess all three things can be true. But I'm going to let Tasha, once again, she's getting the hard jobs today, Tasha is. I'm going to let Tasha, the other Tasha, tell you guys exactly exactly what is going on with Bill Murray behaving badly. Take it away, Tosh. Tasha, I can't find her. She's a little lost. We're going to find Tasha and then get her loaded up. I don't know where did you go, Tosh? Where did you go, girl? Where did you go? Shucks. Let me see. I got to find her. It's a doggone shame. Is this it? Let's see. Thanks, Tosh. It's a rare day that I get to pull double duty, but now I'm going to deliver a report about Bill Murray behaving badly. Unless you've been living under a rock lately, you've been hearing about the floodgates opening on accusations of Bill Murray being abusive to his coworkers on set. And Bill Murray, we're talking about a legend of comedy, a legend of Hollywood. How bad could Bill Murray really be? The answer to that question is bad. He can be really, really bad. And if you don't believe me, check out this next clip.
It's getting some attention from the book. You write about alleged sort of abusive behavior on the part of Bill Murray, your co-star in the 1989 film Quick Change. You say he used this. This is just a weird. You say he used a massager on you during a private meeting, or tried to and got to for a little bit, and another time berated you in front of the cast and crew. Yet you never said anything about it at the time. You said those were ways to test you.
Well, I only learned later what it was about. It was at the audition that before he would let me audition or talk about the role or anything. I had to let him put this massager on. I had to lay down on a bed in the hotel suite and let him put this massager on my back. And he was so insistent about it that I knew I was never going to be able to leave the room unless I went crazy, without, being forced to do this thing. And I found out later that it was because I had just won an Oscar, and he thought, I'm not going to cast her unless I know she's not going to think she's all that. And I have to be sure that she's going to do what I want. And so that was one test. And then when I got the role, the first day of shooting, he went crazy and screamed at me in front of hundreds of people. And that was also, I saw him do that subsequently to other people, and I realized that's his way of intimidating people and making them, afraid of him, and then they won't challenge him, I guess, is the idea.
So you...
Just in case that wasn't enough, there's this.
Congratulations. Very good. Awesome. You've done a great job. Please out.
Bill Murray, stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I'm known for grace. I really am.
Well, you appeared to be done on the one side, and we thought
I can only apologize for Love and Faith. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about
that. Oh, this is lovely, isn't it?
And I'm pretty sure that there's someone out there thinking, well, that wasn't so bad. She looked like she was into it. Well, what about this?
Yeah.
It's the cringeworthy, long-forgotten TV appearance in which Bill Murray can't keep his hands off Gina Davis. And it's shedding new light on the actress's claims about Murray's behavior when she auditioned for a movie role in a hotel suite.
It was a lot like this, in fact, yeah.
Really? He touched you a lot in the audition?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I swear. The first thing he did was, take my shirt out of my pants and start tickling my stomach.
Davis also spoke about Murray insisting on using a massage device during the audition.
It's called the thumper.
The thumper. And he says, you should try this. I'm going to massage your back with this thing. And I'm thinking, no way, this is this. Oh, excuse me.
The shocking appearance took place in 1990 on the Arsenio Hall show.
But wait, there's more. There's more. There's more.
Was hosting the show, and Bill Murray, as everybody knows, is great with kids. So he saw me sitting on the arm of this chair and made a big fuss about me being in his seat. And I was like, that is absurd. I am sitting on the arm of this couch. There are several lengths of this sofa. Kindly F off. And he was like, that's my chair. And then my mom goes, since he's the Bill Murray, you should maybe give him his seat. And I go, are you this much of a jerk? You're this rude to tell a 9-year-old to get out of your... What is this power play? He picked me up by my ankles. I know, right? Gasped from the crowd. He dangled me over a trash can, and he was like, the trash goes in the trash can. And I was screaming. And I swung my arms, flailed wildly. Full contact with his balls. Full contact. He dropped me in the trash can. The trash can falls over. I was horrified. I ran away, hid under the table in my dressing room, and just cried, and was like, oh my God, I don't want to do the show. I can't believe this happened. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. So it turns out it was Eddie Murphy and Tim Kazurinsky. They come back and come to my room. They're like, hey, everybody knows Bill's a dick. He's hosting the show. He's probably really like nervous about it. You be a pro, right? The show must go on. You be a pro. You're a pro, right? And I was like, I'm a pro.
Now you know that one thing that Twitter likes is a tsunami of bad press. So Twitter did what Twitter does. Twitter got the tweet. Chris Evans, now not that Chris Evans, it's other Chris Evans. Chris Evans said, the same white people clutching their pearls over Will Smith slapping someone are logging into Cheryl Lee Ralph's internet to defend Bill Murray for 30 plus years of sexual harassment and assaults. And also, so Bill Murray, a human being, turned out not to be the perfect person we trade him out to be based on his movies and interviews. Shocker! Carly Simone has reminded us about a trigger warning and said it was grossly uncomfortable to watch that clip of Bill Murray harassing Gina Davis. And Greg made sure to remind us of one fun thing about Bill Murray, and that's when he was shooting What About Bob, he violently attacked Richard Dreyfuss, and production halted until they solved the problem by giving Dreyfuss an on-set bodyguard. Then there's this reminder that Bill Murray put both his hands in Solange's hair after asking her 3 times if her hair was a wig. Yeah, he did that. And then the Seth Green thing, that was terrible. Instead of What About Bob, it should be goddamn Bob, please stop. Or Bill. Bob, Bill, all the same. They say, never meet your heroes. I've never met Cuba Gooding Jr. I've never met Bill Murray. But yuck. This is worse than freaking Groundhog's Day. And that's it. Nice working with you twice today, Tosh. I'm shooting it back to you for your commentary. So, yeah, Bill behaved badly. Yes. Yeah, I don't know what, I don't know. There is really not a lot of excuse that you can give a person, especially after, it's been a long time. Like we're looking back at that Arsenio clip. That was from 1990. Again, same year that I was a little kid going to see the House Party movie. That is the year that Gina Davis, that one on Arsenio, that one really looked bad. Now David is saying it's comedy, but he shouldn't yell at anyone. He was unprofessional. Davina is asking if Smoke is a bot. I don't know. I think Smoke is real. No, I think Smoke is real. Smoke, you're not no bot, are you? Because Smoke says that that's Smoke 007. That was me as Black Adam in the promo. And I said, which promo? And that Smoke says, Black Adam. I was the official Black Adam for the New York Black Carpet event. I even did a promo with Dwayne earlier that morning. I said that must have been fun. And the Smoke 007 said, I'll be posting it on my YouTube channel. It was fun. He was blown away. And Smoke said, I'm not a bot. Yeah, I believe you. No, I believe you're not a bot, Smoke. Smoke, do you want to share your YouTube channel so that we can go and take a look at your being the official Black Adam for the Black Carpet event? I would like to see that. And then if you do post it, is it okay if next week, after we go see this movie, that we share it that I share it with my audience? Let me know. So David says, okay, no excuse for Bill. No, once upon a time, those things were considered funny. And once upon a time, women went along with things. And I can say this because I felt that way quite a bit growing up, that some of the shit that was done to me wasn't funny, but you kind of laugh it off because everybody else thought it was funny. And now you realize as an adult that basically you was just letting people sexually assault you. Tasha, what was you thinking, girl? Because see, now I'll punch somebody out for putting their hands on me without permission. But back then, it just didn't seem like it was the, I would have been rocking a boat. And yeah, I should have made some noises. I should have got into some good trouble, and made a little noise about how I felt. But instead, I went along to get along. And that takes us full circle back to Viola Davis telling you you were doing things at a point in life because that's what everybody else was. That's the expectation. Nobody else was screaming, so why would you scream? So you get to a certain age or a certain point in life where you I would like to have some say over who puts their hands, and vice versa. I shouldn't be able to put my hands on you either. So there's that. And Davina says she was checking. Girl, I'm so glad you had my back, girl, because sometimes it do be bots in here, and they say some horrible things sometimes. Yes, they do. Okay, so Black Panther. We're going to talk about that just a bit here. But first and foremost, I want you guys to take a look at. I don't know how many people are subscribed to me on Facebook, the After the Snap Movies and TV page, and then also the After the Snap Hangout, which is our group. You can join those. But I had posted those digital magazine covers for Entertainment Weekly. That was the Black Panther digital magazine covers. But just in case you hadn't seen them, I'm going to play them here, and then we're going to talk about whether or not Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the MCU's Godfather. So let's take a look at those digital covers first. Thanks, Tosh. It's a rare day that I get to pull double duty, but now I'm going to deliver a report about Bill Murray. Unless you've been living under a rock lately, I just did that again. I keep playing Bill. It's like I want to keep talking about Bill Murray. It's not him. This is not who I was supposed to be talking about. I was supposed to have the Black Panther digital media. Let's try that again. That was just so nice. I really did like. I had to share it again because I really did like those digital covers. So is Black Panther the MCU's Godfather? Let's take a look. And guess what? Remember, I promised y'all. I said, promise that I have used a different magazine or a different oh Lord, what was I gonna say? I've used something else as a reference. And that's today's comic book, the CBR.com. Yes, I have used them as a reference. I got Wakanda them. Let me shut them Wakanda them down. It's getting to the end of the show for me. We got a few more minutes of story. So this is really we're coming towards the home stretch. Marvel Studios Vice President Nate Moore explains the comparisons between Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Francis Ford Coppola's 1972 film The Godfather. Those pics are very nice, aren't they, Davina? Yes. So, Nate Moore has compared the events of the upcoming film Black Panther Wakanda Forever to those found in the 1972 classic The Godfather. Now, Moore made this surprising comparison in the latest issue of Total Film magazine. This sounds crazy, but I'm going to say it. There's a little bit of a mob movie to this, which was kind of strange to me when I thought about that. There's a little bit of The Godfather. Sounds like I'm being insane, but there's that feeling of families at war. Because this movie is very much about Wakanda finding an equal to itself and Namor's world of Talokan. These two isolationist nations that are incredibly powerful, probably more powerful than any other nations in the world, are figuring out how they can both coexist. The film is very much about Wakanda opening up its borders to some degree and impacting Namor's world in a way that's unexpected. Namor kind of comes to Wakanda with a proposal that's not unlike, one of the 5 families coming with a proposal. And Wakanda is having to figure out how to negotiate with this world power that isn't afraid of it, frankly. So Namor and them ain't afraid of Wakanda. They about as strong as Wakanda. This could be a true match for, let's close this crap. This could be a true match for Wakanda as far as technology and just strength as a nation, an isolationist nation. There is another isolationist nation that we have been talking about over the weeks, and it's called Latveria. Latveria is an isolationist nation. As is, what is the one for the X-Men? What was the name of their, Genova? I forgot the name of the X-Men's island. Genesee? Tell me what in the comments, if you guys can think of it, because I can't. Tell me what the name of the island that Magneto had for the mutants. Tell me what the name of that island was. Then we also have Latveria, that's Dr. Doom. So I can see how they are trying to make each one of these isolationist nations, and of course this is me jumping from just what he just said about Black Panther, Wakanda, and Talokan. I can see this going even further to Latveria and to, gosh, I cannot remember the G island for the mutants. Somebody please tell me. But that would just mean that there would be one more, at least. One more isolationist nation that would make this like the 5 families. You guys let me know what you're thinking as it concerns that. Like, do we think that we'll see Latveria show up? Do we think that we'll see the X-Men show up as far as being another isolationist nation? Tell me what you guys think. While the marketing for Black Panther Wakanda Forever has mainly focused on the leaders of Wakanda coping with the sudden loss of King T'Challa, the film's official poster and trailers have also teased a clash between the nations of Wakanda and Talokan. Now, one of the things, this will lead us right into the next thing I wanted to talk about as far as what Wakanda Forever goes. Genosha. Thank you, D. Lord have mercy, I could not think of the name of that doggone place. I knew it started with a G. That's all I knew. So, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, we know we're getting this loss of T'Challa, and then we know we're getting some kind of clash between Wakanda and Talokan, right? So where in the Marvel timeline is this movie sitting? Genosha, yes, thank you, Angus. Magneto's mutant nation. So and this is before I go into what I was about to say. Before I go into that, this is my thoughts. They are introducing Wakanda. They've already introduced Wakanda. Now they're introducing Talokan, which is Namor's underwater nation. Do we think that it makes sense, especially if we're going with this mob kind of storyline, that they will introduce either Genosha or Latveria as other isolationist nations where their heads of those nations are like the boss, and you have to go through the boss to if you are doing something that might impede upon their territory. Let me know if you guys think I might be onto something here. Okay. Anywho, so Black Panther, I'm wondering to myself, where does Black Panther fall? How long after the blip? When, or how long between T'Challa's, how long between the blip, T'Challa's death, and then the events of the war between, or the clash between Talokan and Wakanda? So Disney has confirmed, and this is according to another different reference piece. Angus says it's going to totally be about Latveria, and I feel that way too, sir. I feel like these strings are being pulled by somebody right now, and that somebody is Doom. Yes, I do. But we're going to talk more about that. We got lots of time. Well, right now, there is a time jump between T'Challa's death in Black Panther 2 and then the rest of the movie. So we're not going to see, as soon as T'Challa dies, then all this stuff started happening. No. What you start to realize is that there might be a little bit of a power vacuum. And guess what? Now that's the time to attack. And Ramonda says as much in the trailer. But I can't wait to see exactly how they pull this off. But Black Panther 2 is confirmed to tackle T'Challa's death as Wakanda looks to move forward with its next steps. It's still unclear when exactly the sequel takes place in relation to the rest of the MCU timeline. And while that specific answer is still unknown, Disney did recently release a new official briefing about the movie that sets up where the Wakandan people are in their journey. Now, Doom needs vibranium. Doom does. Yes. According to Disney's latest press release for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the sequel will be jumping forward a full year in time after T'Challa's death within the MCU. As noted by Ryan Coogler, Queen Ramonda recognizes the time that's passed since T'Challa's death and how Shuri's still not healing, leading to them taking a retreat away from Wakanda. But that quickly leads them to their first encounter with Tenoch Huerta's Namor the Submariner. Ramonda realizes that it's been a year since T'Challa's passing. Shuri's not healing. She's not taking steps to move forward in a healthy way. They take a retreat, stepping away from the city, from the technology, to sit with no distractions and to perform what is essentially a grief ritual. That's when Namor shows up. That to me is a good thing to know, because it's telling me that basically Shuri is where I am. She's depressed. She suffered a loss. This is in fact, this is the closest person to her. This is her big brother. He's now gone. She has suffered this huge loss and she is not getting over it fast enough. And the country needs her. You can almost imagine that she's not doing any work in the lab because she's so hurt. And because of that, you can think that that this is not playing to the strengths of Wakanda. If she is not at her A game, then Wakanda is not at its A game. Angus says that ritual happens on a nice beach. It sure looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah. So, Coogler also said, in our story, Namor represents Talocan, a hidden underwater civilization that is our reimagined version of the comic book realm of Atlantis. His appearance there shows that Wakanda is not as safe as they thought, and he presents Ramonda and Shuri with the proposition, an offer they can't refuse. Lord have mercy. So I'm looking forward to it. Nate Moore also added that the notion of a society that was forced into hiding because of the events of the outside world is very much germane to the world of Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ryan Coogler is a very savvy filmmaker in putting these things together. Namor's concerns resonate with Ramonda and Shuri, of course. Their nations have some things in common, but they may not agree with his solution. And for the story of Wakanda to move forward in a world where T'Challa is now no longer with us, it only made sense to investigate what that loss meant for all of the people that he touched. And there's no one who's going to feel that effect more than his little sister, Shuri. So after that, they're having the funeral, of course, and they're going to move past T'Challa's death, and they're going to enter the meat and potatoes of the current story. And then also we have heard that Black Panther 2 is going to be over 2.5 hours long. That is a lot of time to pay ample respect to the man Chadwick Boseman and the character King T'Challa, and then move on with the rest of the story. And also hopefully leave a door open for some part of the Black Panther to return. And I'm not just the Black Panther, I mean the T'Challa character. We know that we are going to this multiverse. We're already deeply within the throes of the multiverse. So there is the possibility that we could see another T'Challa. Who knows? But yes, David, they are killing the Black Panther off, and the reason why is because the character, the actor Chadwick Boseman passed away, and this cast and this crew of Black Panther Wakanda Forever were not ready to see another person in the role. There is a lot to be said about people who are saying they should just recast them. And that's easy for us to say on the outside looking in, but those people were friends with that man. They were friends with them, and they suffered a loss, and it is only humane to give them an opportunity to find closure with that loss before we start moving into somebody else wearing his shoes. So yeah, he gonna die, but I mean, yeah, he gonna die. Oh, I'm sorry. I know it sounds really crazy the way I'm saying it, but yeah, he gonna die. He gonna die. Now, before we get out of here, this is like my last thing before I go. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the release dates that have been changed for Marvel. And they were changed. Basically, it starts with Blade. Now, they were saying before, okay, Blade, the director left the project. And now, oh Lord, it's taking too long. Mahershala Ali is getting impatient. But my sources, and my sources are not that great. I don't have no Hollywood sources, but my sources tell me that director left because Mahershala Ali was not satisfied with the vision for that movie, and he definitely wasn't satisfied with the script for that movie. So Mahershala Ali is the person who pitched the movie. Mahershala Ali is the executive producer on this movie. So Mahershala Ali says, look, I got too much to lose. This is This is me putting my name out there. This is a pitch, my vision, what I wanted to see happen with this character, and it's not being done justice. So I'm leaving. I need this all to start over. And he had enough power for within this production. He had enough power for Kevin Feige and the powers that be to say, yes, sir, Mr. Ali, sir. And they've given him what he's wanted, which is they're getting a new director, and therefore things had to shuffle around. I'm not happy about it. I was looking very forward to Blade coming out in November of next year, but here we are. Here we are. So Phase 5 is now going to look like this. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, February 17th, 2023. Then The Secret Invasion TV show. That's going to be in spring 2023 on Disney+. Then What If Season 2 is going to be also early 2023 on Disney+. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be May 5th, 2023. The Marvels will be July 28th, 2023. Echo, Disney Plus series, will be summerish 2023. And we get Loki also in summer 2023, also on Disney Plus. That is season 2 of Loki. Ironheart with our girl Riri Williams, who we will meet in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Her series is coming to Disney Plus in fall of next year, as is the animated X-Men 1997. That is also Disney Plus in the fall. Spider-Man freshman year, another one, Disney Plus in 2024. But in winter of 2023, which I skipped for some reason, is Agatha: Coven of Chaos. I'm looking very forward to Agatha: Coven of Chaos. They are saying that like a lot of the characters from WandaVision will be coming back, and the question is how and why. Like Dottie, they got Dottie coming back. Now Dottie is coming back, so how or why? Was she a witch the whole damn time? We're gonna find out. Marvel Zombies is coming out in 2024 on Disney Plus. Daredevil: Born Again, spring 2024, Disney Plus. Captain America: New World Order is May 3rd, 2024. That is at theaters. The Thunderbolts are July 26, 2024 in theaters. Blade is now September 6, 2024. Damn near a year after it was supposed to originally come out. And that, again, pushed everything behind it back. So, Deadpool 3 is going to round out Phase 5. And then we're going to move into Phase 6, which is where things are going to pretty much wind up. Fantastic Four is February 14th. Oh, did I say Deadpool 3 is November 8th, 2024? If I did not, I apologize. Fantastic Four starts Phase 6. February 14th. Valentine's Day for the First Family, 2025. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty is May 2nd, 2025. And Avengers: Secret Wars is May 1st, 2026. Which puts us right back in about the same amount of time that we had between Infinity War and Endgame. I'm here for it. Let's make sure everything is tight and right. Phase 5 has been, no, not Phase 5, I'm sorry. Phase 4 has been a bit lackluster for me. Not saying that the movies were not enjoyable. It just seems to be we are starting to tread water. And I want to see things move at a frenetic pace again. So hopefully Phase 6 will give us that. And yes, Angus, I too would like to see a Deadpool She-Hulk crossover. That would be fantastic. I would love to see it. With all that, I think I've covered it all, y'all. Yeah, I think I covered it all. Now, do you guys have anything before I get on up out of here? Because I got a date with Ashton. He'll be coming back momentarily, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of seconds here because I know there is a lag. I can actually see the lag now. So yeah, if you have anything, speak now, forever hold your peace. If not, again, look in the description. Find all the different ways that you can find us, catch up with us, to have a chit chat after the show is over, and also all the different ways that you can support this here show. All of that is in the description box below. Also, what else was I going to say? Thank you, Davina, again, for your kind donation. We will be putting this thing through StreamYard, and hopefully I can put all of this together and have a nice show on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube, because, big fun. Then we can have oh God, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to have the what do we call it? The comments coming across the screen again. Yes, beautiful. Love it. Thank you. So yeah, I don't have anything else. Now, if you guys ever want to give me a topic to talk about, I'm all ears. Again, my email address or any other way to catch up with me. It's a million ways to catch up with me. All of that is down in the in the description box. See you guys my regulars. I see you guys on Discord and or Facebook, right? And we will see you guys in the next one. It has been an awful lot of fun. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.